Hello everyone! Welcome back to this Friday Virtual Crafternoon. We've had a little break since May, and I'm really excited about this project for June. It was so easy, and my favorite thing about this project was that it was really easy to riff on. So the project was an outdoor mason jar chandelier, and I found while I was doing this project that there were so many places that I could sub whatever I had with me with what I originally intended to use. So in my original tutorial, it was spaghetti style jars. I ended up using those smaller mason jars. I believe they're 16 ounces. Smaller mason jars. The tutorial used like river rocks and stones in the bottom of the jars. I ended up swapping that out for wood chips because that's what I had. And then likewise, the original tutorial used a thicker twine to attach the jars to your long stick. I ended up just using regular old string because that's what we had here at the library. And instead of using tea lights in my chandelier, I put flowers in there. So it turned out to be a little bit more of a mason jar vase. Turned out really cool. I hope you guys enjoy this project. Feel free to riff on it as much as you want as well. No matter what you make, it's gonna look cool, as I found when I was doing it as well. And we will see you again in July. July's project is a recycled bowl made out of old magazines. We'll see you again in July and hope you make this project. So to start this project, you are going to want your mason jars. I used regular old mason jars. You could also use spaghetti sauce jars. I used wood chips to put into my jars here that I found outside the library. You're going to need some string or twine, a pair of scissors to cut it, and a nice looking stick. This one I just found outside of the library. It was about 2 feet long. And there are my flowers. They're literally just wild flowers that I found right outside the library, cut with a pair of scissors, and decided to put into my jars. So to start, distribute your wood chips or rocks or whatever you decide to put in the bottom of your jars into each jar so that it's about the same amount in each jar. Or you can put more in some and less in others if you want it to look a little more organic. There's my jars, looking good. Next, we're going to take our string or twine, and I cut my pieces 4 feet long. So you're going to want 2 pieces of string per jar, and you're going to want to cut them 4 feet long. Now let's wrap them around our jar. Take the middle of the string, wrap it around underneath the lip of the jar 3 times. You don't need to tie a knot, you just need to wrap it in a crossing pattern, and then you're going to double knot it after you wrap 3 times, and try to double knot it tight against the jar. This will ensure that the string stays on there and doesn't slip off later. Tie your double knot, and now you can see it's attached to our jar. You're going to repeat this with the other piece of string, starting at your knot and going to the other side of the jar. You're going to follow that same pattern. Same thing, knot your string. And now you have another set of string on the other side of your jar. And this is what is going to allow it to hang from that stick. And you can see there it's fairly equal on either side of the jar. Doesn't have to be perfect. Go ahead and do this with all 3 of your jars, so 6 total pieces of string that you're tying. If you have 3 jars, if you end up using more jars, that's okay too, just 2 pieces of string per jar. And now we're going to create our hanging. Okay, take your string, pull it all the way taut towards the top, and then pinch the place where the strings meet and tie your double knot there. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You just kind of want it to be equal looking so that the jar will hang fairly straight. Go ahead and do this for each of your jars. I just had my stick sitting on top of the jars for ease so that I could then just pull the stick right up and see what it would look like, as you'll see here in a second. And there we go. Now the jars are hanging off of the stick. And as you can see, they were a little tippy, so if you need to adjust your string at all, you can kind of tug it around your jar to make it a little more even looking. Then I just took my flowers that I had soaking in some water, split them up into 3 portions, and I stuck them right into my jars. If you decide to use tea lights, this would be the time to put in those tea lights as well, or whatever else you want to put in your jars for decoration. Finally, if you want your chandelier to be able to hang from something like a rafter, tie some more string around the top of the stick, and you're done.